I've been in innovation for more than 20 years now, and it's really wonderful. I think innovation is one of the most important things in business, because when you're innovative, you not only create profits for your company, but you really can change people's lives. Now, having been in innovation for 20 years, I'm very happy to report that everybody in the world is interested in innovation today. And in fact, I think it's gotten so much that perhaps not everybody who talks about innovation nowadays really understands what it is. In fact, now it seems like every newspaper talks about innovation. Even politicians are speaking about innovation now. Everyone wants to do it. So it may be helpful to really kind of understand what innovation really is. Well, first of all, innovation really comes, the word innovation comes from economics. It really means two things: novelty and value. Now, that's an important thing to remember, because, you know, people often confuse it with the word invention. Invention is often about patents. It's about intellectual property. And in fact, you know, if you meet people who have their names on patents, know that there's no value requirements in patents. It just has to be new and non-obvious. So invention can be an important input to innovation, but it's not sufficient. So it's about value and novelty. Now, innovation is not just about R&D. In fact, the outputs of innovation can be many things. It could be products, it could be services, it could be technology, it could be process innovation. And in fact, you know, if you're market-facing, it could also be about innovative new channels to reach customers. And then most of all, and this is where companies often struggle the most, it's also about business models. Business model innovation is very difficult if you're trying to innovate your business while you're trying to operate and make money in an existing model. Now, we also think of innovation often as something big, breakthrough, but the reality is most innovation in the world is incremental. And I think that's perfectly okay. As long incremental innovation is more predictable, it has more steady stream of cash flow, and it can form the foundation for some of the bigger things like breakthroughs, which inherently are more risky and are more likely to fail. So I think from a business leader's perspective, it is important sort of to think about both of these things, incremental, breakthrough, perhaps even disruptive, and think about all the outputs of innovation as well. And to be good at innovation means to be good at playing at sort of at all these different things. And that's really important. Now, the good news about innovation is that you don't have to be Apple, you know, because people sometimes get frustrated because they're saying, oh, Apple is the most successful company in the world, most profitable company, biggest quarterly profit in the history of public companies and all that. I'm not an Apple. You know, you don't have to be Apple. You just have to be a little bit better than everybody else in your industry. Just being 10% better than everybody else can give you a very distinct competitive advantage in a world nowadays where it's very difficult to find a competitive advantage. And so for companies like in Poland, for example, I think innovation is one of the things where they can really differentiate themselves, and I think it's going to be a necessity for growth in the future. The good news is that it's not something that you wake up with one morning or that you need a talent. It can be learned. And that's what we do, is we research it. You know, as I said, I've spent more than 20 years researching innovation. We know a lot about what to do, what kinds of best practices you need to follow, how you become more innovative. The good news is that this 10% improvement or 20% improvement even can be very much easily learned in actually a sort of a very short time, and if you know how to do it. So that is very encouraging, and I would also invite everybody to come and to learn this here, because there's so much that we know, so you don't have to reinvent things that already exist.